Kia ora koutou, a very good evening to you all. My name is Nicola Batossi. I am General Manager at Multiple Sclerosis Auckland. I know we have people joining us from around the country, so a warm welcome to you as well. Tonight we've got a really exciting webinar for you. It's called Conquering New Heights, Adventures and Goals specifically for people with multiple sclerosis. It's intentional that it's the start of the year while people recalibrate their lives and look at the year ahead. So I hope that this is going to inform and inspire many of you out there. I'd like to open with a whakatauki, which I think is really relevant. Mā te huruhuru kareri te manu. That translates as adorn the bird with feathers so it may soar, literally. It conveys the idea that people can grow at any age and stage by learning new skills, helping others and solving problems. So tonight's format is first we'll start with Mastering Mountains, and we'll have Duncan Grant sharing his own experience of his Mastering Mountains challenge. Duncan, if you decide to wave out there. And following Duncan's story, we have Nick Allen, who is the manager at Mastering Mountains. He can give us a little bit more information about it. Next, we will have Debbie Thomas. Debbie is one of our peer support volunteers as well, but tonight she's speaking as a recent participant in the Outward Bound program. Now, unfortunately, Outward Bound couldn't join us in person tonight, but they've requested that anybody who's interested, please follow up on their website. Alternatively, you can send any queries through us. Following Debbie, we will have Kevin Miller. Kevin is a board member of Multiple Sclerosis Auckland, but tonight he's wearing a hat as a previous multiple participant of the Oceans of Hope program. Finally, we'll have Ingrid Robertson, who looks after the Oceans of Hope program in New Zealand. So she'll explain a little bit more about how that works. If you have any questions or comments, please do put them into the chat box. We'll leave them to the end because some of them may apply to more than one speaker. But we would love to hear your questions and comments. So without further ado, I now hand over to Duncan Grant, who will share his experience with you. Thanks, Duncan.
Thanks, Nicola. Evening, everyone. I will just try and share my screen and see if I get this right. Okay, all right. Is that looking all right there, Nicola?
Yes, that's good.
Okay, cool. All right, well, welcome everyone. My name's Duncan Grant. I received the Mastering Mountains grant, or applied for it in 2023. So it's now 2025. It's been a bit of a process for me, but it's been a real good experience and an amazing learning curve. I've always been really, really active, participated in lots of sports prior to being diagnosed with MS. And when I was diagnosed with MS, which is 2020, I just wanted to try and continue as best I could with all the sport that I do. I'd already been on Oceans of Hope, which Ingrid and Kevin will talk about, which is an amazing experience before. So I was just on a mission really to try and take take any challenge on board I could to for myself and for showing other people with MS that anything's possible. I came across Nick. Actually, I came across his book a while ago. He'd written a book, and then I came across that he was had this charity, Mastering Mountains. So I thought, right, that's me. I'll give it a crack. So my 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 main that's one too many. My main passion is oh, sorry, that is the right one. My main passion is ocean swimming. So before diagnosis, I did all the swims around Auckland, all the races, swimming 3 or 4 times a week. Noticed a few things happening to me, which I didn't really realize what they were. And when I was diagnosed with MS, I've continued to swim as much as possible as I can within the limits of my MS. So I applied to Mastering Mountains to Nick for the challenge to uh, do three. Or the first challenge was actually to swim from Rangitoto to St Heliers. I'd done that before a couple of times before my body started doing what it's doing, and so I thought, well, that would be a really awesome challenge. I didn't have any intrepidation in applying for the grant. It's all a real. I love doing these things, so I was right in for it and right up for it. So got the grant from Nick, which was amazing. It was something a bit different for them as well. I think hadn't had anybody do a water-based activity, so I got it, as I said, in 2023. Got a gym membership with it, helped with a new wetsuit, and then I entered. My main aim was to swim the Rangitoto race to St Heliers, which was about 6 months later after I got my grant. So I was all on track. I started going to the gym. Still go to the gym to this day. I love it. Do body pump and some weights. I've always belonged to my swim club, which is called Koei Kippers, and that's us there on the left there. Swimming one of our swims in Auckland. We do a whole lot of things throughout the year, winter time all the way through, and it's an amazing group and a really good support base for me. So I continue to do that, and then just 5 days before Rangitoto, I got COVID. So that took me out of Rangitoto, and I was pretty devastated, to tell you the truth. So I put a lot of work into it, and it was now no longer possible for me to do because I was pretty sick. So anyway, I went down and supported my friends and worked through that, and decided, yep, I'll refocus. I'll refocus. Rangitoto maybe a little bit too far for me at this day and age, so I thought I'll do three of the other swims. So talked to Nick and some friends, and uh, decided to crack on with the other swims. I did one swim, which was Bean Rock, and yep, it's around Bean Rock in Auckland. Amazing swim to do. And then I broke my foot in two places. So I was out for a number of weeks. So then I had to. That was just about a year into the Mastering Mountains. So uh, I'd done one challenge. I'd been doing all my swimming and all the gym work, etc. But then I broke my foot. So I was like, well, now what am I going to do? So I decided, well, I'll try Rangitoto again. But they'd moved Rangitoto from 2024 to 2025. So I thought I'll do another two races before Rangitoto, and and then finish off with Rangitoto for my final swim. So I got out of my moon boot, it's back into the ocean, and everything was going awesome. So this was the first swim I did, and was about beginning of November, I think. So this is my swim group here. This is across Auckland Harbour. I swam with my friend Claire there, and she's a little bit slightly slower than me, so it was really good for me to actually just pull back and just enjoy the swim. But I knew I find it really hard getting out of the water, so it was a bit of a struggle. So she helped me out, and then we crossed the line, and those are some of my friends there. So I was really stoked to do that. So that was my first swim done. So I was on track to get it cracked. So then second swim, this is my second swim that I did, which is up in Russell, so Paihere Russell. That was about three, or the other swim was about 3.4. This is about 3.6K. And I really took my time and thought I'd just do this and in the moment sort of thing and just enjoy it. And it worked really, really well. I had a fantastic swim and came across the line and I didn't need any help, which was the first time in a long time. Just that my leg was working and I got out. So I was stoked. So I was training for Rangitoto, which was 2 weeks ago. But then yet again, uh, life got in the way, and I got diagnosed with a little melanoma on my nose, which I had to have operated on, and that was done for 2 weeks, I think, before Rangitoto, and I had 5 stitches in my nose, so I was out of swimming for another couple of weeks, and that took Rangitoto out. So I am now presently got one more swim that I'm going to do to finish off, and that'll be the end of the swim season. So yeah, it's been quite a challenge for me. Um, but the biggest thing it's been actually an amazing challenge. I think I'm probably one of the longest mastering mountain recipients to take to complete their missions. But I've learned a huge amount through it, and all these things are part of life, and they just come at you, and you don't know when, you don't know. I might have had a smooth sailing, but obviously I didn't. So I had to reset my mindset. And what I found is that I was actually hugely resilient. I didn't really think of myself. I mean, didn't really think about that, but I just kept bouncing back each time and taking those little blows as they came, and refocused. And with the help of Nick, he's amazing, and the group that we've got. Nick rings me and we chat, and puts helps us just get the path we need to go on. And without their support, these things wouldn't be possible. So it's an incredible organisation, and it's there for us to, as MS and FND people with those disabilities, to use. So I can't thank Nick enough, and I've got one more challenge to do. So yeah, that'll be in April. Watch this space. Hopefully, nothing will happen to me. I'm pretty positive this is going to be a good year. But yeah, that's me, and that's Mastering Mountains. So yep, Nick will talk about it now, and yeah, it's a must bucket list tick off to do. Thanks, Nicola.
Thanks so much, Duncan.
Thank you.
Nick, over to you.
Okay, cool.
Kia ora, Nicola, and thanks so much, Duncan. It's working with people like Duncan is just like such a joy, and it's been a real joy to like journey for the last nearly 18 months with Duncan. It's it's just been incredible to see Duncan's resilience. It's been incredible. But after hearing such a great sort of overview of what it is like as a grant recipient, I thought I might just talk about some of the nuts and bolts behind the scenes with Mastering Mountains. So I'm also just going to share my screen. So hang on one moment. Right. So first of all, I thought I might just quickly discuss why we exist as a charitable trust. So what is our purpose? So we exist to enrich the lives of people affected by MS and FND by helping them get outdoors. And if we just break that down a little bit, we think that the getting outdoors is a really powerful thing. And for us, enriching a person's life or an enriched life includes a sense of hope, connection to community, and the ability to make positive lifelong change. And for us, those are really key components of what we try to do with Mastering Mountains. We enable change by helping people find strategies and gain knowledge that they need to sustain their activity outdoors and to manage their health condition in the long term. So that enabling change and finding a way forward is a really key part. And then also connection to community and finding a community that an existing community and looking for ways to strengthen those connections. But also with Mastery Mountains, we bring people together into a community of grant recipients, and hopefully that's a really positive thing. And I think what's really special about that online community with Mastery Mountains is that people kind of get what you're going through, and we journey together. And there's one other grant recipient the same year as Duncan who has just finished her journey now as well, and it's been amazing, sort of all together going in this big journey. And then I suppose the idea is that if we've got the components to manage our health in the long term and to navigate change, and if we've got the support of a strong community, hopefully that will give a sense of hope and hope about our future. So that's for us what an enriched life looks like. But yeah, getting outdoors in a self-directed adventure is a really amazing way to develop these components to develop an enriched life. And so for us, a self-directed adventure is one where you're making the decisions. You have to sort of navigate these things yourself. And it means that it's not a trip that's guided but it's one where you're having to draw on all of your strengths and your strategies and on your connections to complete your goal. And yeah, it's just so exciting to see people achieve their goals. So how do we do this? So we offer some grants. So each year I should know this, but it is at the beginning of April through to the end of May, we receive grant applications from people with MS or from with FND, and these grants fund rehabilitation, so like neurophysio costs, for example, or gym membership. We'll often make a contribution towards gear, like Duncan's wetsuit. We chipped in a little bit for that, I think. And then we provide mentoring, which is where I come in. And that mentoring component is about helping grant recipients to navigate all the highs and lows that come along as you are working towards a goal. And so, yeah, that's kind of my part of the job. So we offer two grants. There's the Mastery Mountains grant, which is what Duncan received, and then there's the Expedition grant. And I created this little flow chart to sort of help hopefully explain it. So when a person applies for a Mastery Mountains grant, they come to us with a goal. And so this should be a self-directed venture, one that you do by yourself or with a group of your friends or something. And but it needs to be a goal that's really inspiring to you. Like Duncan, most grant recipients will have a few highs and lows, not often like broken feet in the mix, but and it's really important during those highs, or sorry, during the lows, to have a goal that excites you to carry you through those difficult times. So you come to us with a goal, and if the adventure that you're wanting to do is a single day adventure, you apply for the Mastery Mountains grant. If it's a multi-day adventure, like a tramp or a hike or something like that, or a big cycling mission, then you apply for the Expedition grant. So if your application gets the go ahead, one of the biggest things that we will focus on is getting you the rehabilitation support you need to achieve your goal. So generally that means connecting you with a neurophysio or a specialist trainer, and that's where the bulk of our funding will go. And then along the way, as so you're getting the physical rehab support. I will come in and provide some mentoring, which is really just journeying alongside people to help them problem solve issues that rise up and to find a good path ahead. And then along the way, we also help out with gear and sometimes can get people access to some cheaper gear and that kind of thing. And then hopefully at the end of all of that, you achieve your goal and come away with a sense of hope, but also a sense that you've got the skills and the community support to be able to do a new adventure. Like this is just the first step, a stepping stone to other dreams that you might wish to pursue. So uh, yeah, so that's kind of the arc of the grants and the two types that we offer. So this is just a little bit more detail for the single day, the Mastery Mountains grant. The gear or equipment costs that we often will chip in towards would be things like clothing, footwear, mountain bike, wetsuit, that kind of thing. And then for the expedition grant, it's basically the same as the regular Mastery Mountains grant in terms of the rehab costs and the gear contribution. But there's an additional component there where we would pitch in towards some group costs as well. So might be like the cost of hiring a personal locator beacon or some accommodation costs, food, that kind of thing. And so that's really aimed for if you're wanting to do a tramping mission or a multi-day cycling mission or something like that. So when we receive a grant, there are just a few things that we are looking for, and in particular, the goals that we like to support are ones that take you into nature. So this would be hiking, cycling, swimming, paddling, just anything that takes you into nature. One thing which often results in goals maybe or applications being declined is where there isn't a clearly defined or achievable goal. So generally we like to work with people for sort of 6 to 18 months. And so normally would advise that if you've got a very long-term goal that you're working towards, maybe pick one that's a little bit as a stepping stone that you can work towards in the meantime. And it just needs to be really clearly defined. So I'm going to do 3 swims, or I'm going to walk from here to there, or cycle from here to there. I'm going to complete this track, that kind of thing. And we really want to see evidence as well that the goal inspires and motivates you. It'd be great. We love it when there's a lot of meaning in the goal. And yeah, because that really, as I say, that really carries you through some of those difficult times. But then last of all, we love to see grant applications that connect people to their communities. And that community could be your family or your wider community, like the MS community. So any trip that you can bring people along with you for, even if it's just them standing on the sidelines cheering you along, is great because it helps inspire other people. It helps changes perceptions around what's possible for people with neurological diseases. And yeah, involving as many people as possible is a good thing. And then on the Mastery Mountains website, you'll find a link there to a bit more detail around the grants. There's an FAQ section where hopefully there'll be a few answers to any other questions. And yeah, and so you can head to masterymountains.org.nz to learn more and to apply for the grants. And I should just mention also that this year we have been receiving a lot of interest, and so the grants do become a little bit more competitive. But yeah, I'd love to see grant applications. So please don't hesitate to head to the website and have a look. So thank you.
Nick, thank you so much. Duncan, did you want to add anything on the end of Nick's talk?
No, he's all good. He's covered everything. Thanks, Nicola.
Excellent. And just so neat to connect with wonderful organisations like yours, Nick. I know you're an inspiration to many, so it's fabulous to have you here.
Well, thank you, Nicola.
Now I'd like to ask Debbie Thomas to to come on the screen and talk about her recent adventure with Outward Bound. Thanks, Debbie.
Thanks, Nicola. Hi, everybody. Just to give you a little background on me, I'm 12 years post-diagnosis with relapsing remitting MS, and I've been on Ocrevus for the last 5 years and been pretty stable over that time. Early last year, I saw the opportunity through Multiple Sclerosis Auckland to attend an 8-day low-impact outward bound course in the Marlborough Sounds. And I thought about it for a little while, hummed and hard about it, and then I decided it was something I'd really like to do because I really like being in nature. So, and I also wanted to kind of find out whether I would be mentally and physically able to do it. So I had some reservations about that. I wasn't sure if I was fit enough or whether I could mentally do it, because it did mean leaving my daughters at home for 8 days. They're a little bit older, they're not too young. So I sort of talked to my friends and family, and they really encouraged me to go. So I wondered how I'd feel being sort of pushed out of my comfort zone and off the grid for 8 days. So I went through the process of applying, and I was really thrilled to be accepted. And Outward Bound arranged the funding for me through MSD, and that included my return travel from Auckland down to Blenheim, and then a shuttle to Picton, and then back the other way, of course, to get home again. So I've only arrived back in November. It was 8 days, and there is some criteria you need to meet to do the course. So if you're thinking about, this could be something that you'd like to do, have a read of the information on the low impact outward bound courses that are available on the website, and you'll be able to ensure that you can, you're able to apply, that you qualify to apply. So I arrived in Picton, and all I knew was my flight times. I kind of thought I might get an itinerary or something. Didn't really know a lot about Outward Bound, but no. I was really nervous, really, really excited to meet 11 strangers who all felt the same as I did. I discovered quite quickly the ages were 21 to 78, and everyone had sort of their own challenges, either mentally, physically, or both. And we soon became known as Batten 719 Watch. And I think the maximum amount of people in each watch is 14, so there was 12 of us. And we handed in our devices, and our adventures began. So day one, day two, so I guess we kind of thought we'd end up at the Outward Bound base camp, but no, we were loaded on a cutter, and we had to sail from Picton, and we sailed and had to learn really quickly how to, because most of us hadn't done it before. So we learned to, tack and jive and put sails up and down and ropes and all sorts of things. So we went out to a bay in the Queen Charlotte Sound where we actually put up 2 flies that we had to sleep under, and sleep in quite close proximity with complete strangers. And we cooked our own meal and shared. So that's a photo of the flies. There was 2 of those, and we were right by that bay, and in the morning that's what the view was when we woke up. It was just incredible, and I had never actually been there before, so I was absolutely blown away. Yeah, we didn't know what we were doing, and that was the theme for the whole time we were there. Each course that goes can be quite structured, depending on, I guess, the instructors get to know who's on the course and kind of what they think the abilities are going to be like and what they can handle. So we never knew what we were doing each day until either the evening before or the morning of, and sometimes we did something in the morning and knew we'd be doing something in the afternoon and didn't even know what that was until sometimes we got told, you have 2 hours to pack a bag and this is the sort of gear you need to take. So it was all quite, it was quite unknown, and it was quite exciting. We started early each day with stretching. and then a walk or a run, or sometimes yoga. And the photo on the right of the bay was actually, we did yoga under a pahutakawa tree with tuis flying that morning. It was amazing. And actually there's a compulsory dip every morning. So that's either in the ocean or the river, depending on where you are. And it's before breakfast and it's head under. So I wasn't very excited about that. I think on day one I was last to put my head under, but by the last day I was third. So I think I did pretty good. So during the week we sailed, bushwalked, we did treetops, kayaked, hiked, and included a night in the bush on our own, and very quickly became a close new family who supported and helped each other during the time we were there. Our instructors were incredible, and they pushed us both sort of mentally and physically. There was a lot of self-reflection, emotions and tears during the week. There was also a lot of laughs and support within the group, and we all had a really wonderful time. Safety was paramount, and we were very well fed, and at times we had lots of time to rest and debrief each day with a lot of self-reflection, and it was really cool. To prepare for it, I exercised regularly and had full support from my friends and family. So I was able physically to be able to do all the activities despite having MS. I did take several days to recover once I came home, so you'd need to be prepared to be able to do this. So that there was the Pelorus River. That was incredible. It was amazing. I love the kayaking, and we had a wonderful time. We did an overnight solo where we were on our own in the bush for 24 hours and had to put our own flies up, and it was interesting actually. And we didn't have any devices. I didn't even have a watch. I didn't know when I woke up what the time was. I didn't know what was going to happen. So it was a really special time. Advice I'd like to share with anyone that might be thinking about doing this: take a pair of shoes to wear during the activities where you'll get wet, that don't have laces. I made the mistake of taking 2 pairs of shoes, both with laces, and I wish I had a pair of activity shoes that I could just slip on. Would have been a lot easier. Take lots of snacks. Muesli bars and nuts were great for energy. Eat plenty at meal times. While I was at the base camp, I was known to have about 3 or 4 courses at breakfast, because dinner was like 6 o'clock at night, and then breakfast the following day was 8 o'clock in the morning. So it was quite a long time in between, and I was really hungry in the morning, and I knew I had to fuel my body for the day ahead. And Outward Bound do cater for anyone with special dietary requirements, which was wonderful. So the day 7, which was the day before we left, we actually got taken to the base of Mount Oliver, and we hiked 350 meters up, and that was the view at the top, which was incredible. It's an awesome walk. It had lots of sculptures along the way to look at, and I've taken tons of photos, and yeah, we had a wonderful, wonderful time. So the group that I was with, we have kept in touch with each other since, and some of us have actually met up since we've come back. And we also keep each other informed if we're travelling around New Zealand, because 2 are from the South Island and the rest were from the North Island. So if any of us are travelling, we keep each other. We have a sort of a WhatsApp group, and we just let everybody know, and that's how we making time to catch up with each other. I highly recommend everyone to do this, anyone to do it. If you're thinking about doing it, it was by far for me the best 8 consecutive days of my life, for many reasons. And I do feel like I have a new family. Just because we have MS, it doesn't need to prevent us doing anything that you put your mind to. If you want to do it, you can do it. So I highly recommend it. Outward Bound organisation was incredible, so well organised. they had a lot of equipment if you've got some missing or don't have it. They're very supportive, but just amazing instructors. And yeah, so thank you for listening, and I'm really happy to answer any questions that you may have at the end. Thank you, Nicola.
Thanks so much, Debbie. It really does sound like an incredible bucket list type trip. I've just shared the website in the chat box. Was the program that you were on, that was the low impact, it wasn't an adapted one?
It was the low impact one, yeah. Yeah, but it did say on the website that you didn't. So we had choices with the exercise, like some people chose to run. I don't run, so I chose to walk. Different, like or do yoga. Depends what the options were. So yeah, and it does say on the website that you don't have to carry a heavy pack, but we did. So I think there might have been one or two people that didn't. So maybe that might have been prearranged. But we did carry a pack in with our supplies for the overnight solo. Unfortunately, that was the only day it rained out of the whole trip, and we had to walk 3.5 k's into Queen's Charlotte Sound in the rain with all wet weather gear, as well as our packs and all our water supplies and everything. So there was a bit of a challenge, but yeah, we all managed. So yeah, that was us. At the end of it, as you can see, no alcohol, no devices, nothing like that there. It's like, yeah, you're allowed to take chocolate though. It was awesome.
Excellent. Yeah, so please do contact Outward Bound directly. Have a look at their website. If you have any questions, they do have all sorts of different courses available. Thanks so much, Debbie. Now I would like to move on to the final section of our webinar tonight, and invite Kevin Miller to join us and talk about his experience with the Oceans of Hope. Yes, that's good, Kevin.
Thank you. Great to hear the two stories. And the interesting thing, Duncan has shared the Oceans of Hope experience with me some time ago, and Debbie's quite keen to go out next time. And Nick, you'll be pleased to know that the Mastering Mountains grant recipients, there's at least 4 of them who have been out in Oceans of Hope, some of them more than once. So there's obviously a common interest there with the offerings of both organisations. For me, like many Aucklanders, I was a keen boatie, and in fact I remained a keen boatie. In the past, I owned my own keelboat. Spent a lot of time sailing in the Hauraki Gulf. It was actually the first place that I noticed something was strange was happening with my body. My balance was poor, which is not good if you're out sailing and going forward in a boat. And I had strange feelings in my feet. And even as I talk about it now, I've got strange feelings in my feet, which is one of those strange things that happen with it. So yeah, I was a keen boatie, and I remain a keen boatie. But unfortunately, I ended up selling my boat, and it disappeared. I saw it in a truck heading down to Wellington in 2008, and it's now in the Marlborough Sounds, Debbie, sailing around there. When I saw through MS Auckland, I advised that so there was sailing opportunities out in the harbour with the Oceans of Hope boat that was in the middle of a circumnavigation. I hopped on board, and that was my first experience with the Oceans of Hope. And I'll just quickly go through to their website here, because there's some interesting information about the background to Oceans of Hope, Steinlager's featuring on their front page, even though it's a UK-based based charity. So that's nice. And if you want to, you can go and have a look at this website and look at their history. And the Oceans of Hope organisation was founded by a Danish doctor and sailor, Mikkel. In 2012, he thought it'd be a good idea to have an MS person crewed boat sailing around the world. I'd seen the offers come through for maybe sailing one of the sectors. I thought it was a bit step too far for me at the time, and I didn't avail myself of that opportunity. But I did go for sail of it on Auckland Harbour, which was a wonderful experience. Oceans of Hope offer challenges. Well, after their circumnavigation, they grew a view that with the help from people from Oceans of Hope UK, Robert Munns, that maybe flotilla cruises and this sort of thing in the Mediterranean might be an attractive option for giving sailing opportunity to people with MS. And this has been going for quite some time now. And none of the people from New Zealand have availed themselves of that opportunity. But on one of those challenges, Ingrid was on board the boat, one of the boats, and had discussions with Robert, and Ingrid could correct me if I'm wrong, but I think out of that grew the interest in having some sailing opportunities available for people in New Zealand. And after I think the first challenge was with the Spirit of New Zealand, but since then the relationship has been with the New Zealand Sailing Trust, and the New Zealand Sailing Trust operates two of Peter Blake's old round the world race boats, Line New Zealand and Steinlager 2. Their primary operation is providing young people with a sailing opportunity, so they have regular 5-day journeys out on the water with people and present them with challenges. Similar to the sort of thing that they've offered to people with MS now. So one thing led to another, and then the opportunity became available for people with MS to have a challenge organised through the Oceans of Hope Challenge with a lot of input from Ingrid from Christchurch, to create opportunities for people to go sailing. And these pictures here, Lion New Zealand here and Steinlager here, are on the first challenge that I went on in 2019, I believe, where we went out in both of the boats, group of people, probably 45 people in all, and to come on board, you had to have MS. So it's just one of those things that having MS is the qualification for joining up on in these sails. So I've now been on 4 of these. It's been a wonderful experience for me. Whilst initially my thoughts were, hey, this gave me a sailing opportunity that I no longer had because I'd sold my boat to go out sailing. But actually I gained an enormous amount more from the experience of being out in the Gulf, in places that were familiar to me, revisiting them with a group of people who are just really all motivated to live well with MS. And it's been a fabulous experience, sharing that with the most recent trip, 24 people with MS, just sitting, talking with people about their experience, helping each other. There's a lot of helping each other. Some of us need a bit more help than others. and it's just a fabulous experience being out, and the people from the Sailing Trust, and typically we have maybe 3 professional sailors on board, plus maybe another two helpers who are there to do the heavy lifting, shall we say, and provide a wonderful sailing experience. These people are typically very experienced. They know how to find a place in the Gulf that's calm when the weather's not, but they really give people a wonderful experience. I had the good fortune to sail from Auckland to the Bay of Islands with a challenge in 2022. It was a wonderful experience, out of Auckland up to Kauai, across to the Great Barrier, then after Tutakaka and passing the Hen and Chicks, we got hit by a rather nasty squall. I've never seen rain quite like it, and there was thunder and lightning as well. But the quite remarkable thing about it was that after that had finished and we were tucked up in Tutakaka, people were very, very calm. And I think that was strength that they'd got from their experience up until that point, a confidence in the people that were helping us in our sailing. So after Tutakaka, we headed up to the Bay of Islands. So that was a great experience. But typically the boats go out from Auckland here, maybe around behind Waiheke, or up to Kauai, across the barrier and back again, 5 days full sailing. The trip that I've just been on, we ended up at the back of the barrier. It's the first time that I'd been out there, to a wonderful spot called Arid Island, or Rakatu Island, which was just magic, really. And I've got some photos that I'll show you of the experience. Not that one. So I'll show you some photos, because I think that the photos and the montages, which we can thank Facebook for, the postings from the people in the group to Facebook, and Facebook's come up with its own montage, really reflect the sort of things we had. So the first one you'll see, Rick Dodson. Those of you who know, he's recently just written a book about his MS and sailing experience, previously a tactician for Team New Zealand, a Paralympic sailor. He came down to brief us before we went away. And he was quite inspirational, really, because he told us we're all magnificent before we started sailing. We can do anything we set our heart on. Just because we've been diagnosed with MS does not mean we have to hold ourselves back. There are many of us in the same boat and are longing to share the same experience. And another one here, you meet the most amazing like-minded people, you laugh together, you cry together, you get to sail in a world-famous boat, you enjoy the serenity of the ocean and all the calmness that it brings with it, and most of all, you can get to put MS at the back seat of the bus for the week. Thank you, Duncan, for those words. Just a few more photos here. This is Smokehouse Bay on Great Barrier Island. It's a regular spot for these boats to go to. There's a place we can go and have a barbecue. You can even have a hot bath if you like. And some of these people have had hot baths here. It's a wonderful place. And just one of my real pleasures was actually showing New Zealand to these people from overseas, because you don't get much better photos than that of a view in New Zealand. That sort of magical experience. And again, that's Arid Island, which was in the photo montages. And this one here, this is a Motor Reka Reka, just east of Kauai Island. There's a wreck of our boat here, which was going to be our club to in the Prohibition days to serve alcohol illegally, but we parked up there on our last night before sailing into Auckland. And I'd just like to acknowledge the team from the Sailing Trust, and particularly the skipper Joe Ivory, who I've sailed with 3 times now. They operate these boats. Their care and contribution is outstanding, as is their recognition of the achievements of all the challenge participants. And they really enjoy working with us. I think they prefer it to the year 10s and 11s that they normally have to look after, even though they quite enjoy that challenge as well. And so we see a lot of repeat crews coming back to work with us. And I'll pass you over to Ingrid. And I'd just like to acknowledge the efforts that she's made in the past to get Oceans of Hope active in New Zealand and organising these challenges.
Thank you, Kevin. It's been great that you shared all your pictures and your knowledge and your experience of our challenges. And I love to see in your name the application form come up each year. So keep sending it in. It's super. Kevin has covered a lot about Oceans of Hope, which is fantastic. But just a couple of little things that when Robert and Nicola decided that they would organise Oceans of Hope challenges, their aim was to offer people from all over the world the opportunity to experience sailing as a way of learning new skills and restoring the self-confidence which can be stolen by MS. And it has achieved that. It achieves it. I enjoy seeing people at the end when they finished a challenge, coming off from when they started. They've got a look of, am I doing the right thing? They're not 100% sure, but you watch them grow through the week and challenge themselves and just take that step forward, and they come off making friends and with a big smile on their face. So that's what the challenges are for, and we do get that. Since the challenges started back in 2016, the first one was in Turkey, and then Croatia, and now they've just increased it. And we've had over 1,500 people sail with us from all over the world, which is just fantastic for the amount of years we've been going. Our challenges are open to all with MS, regardless of experience or ability. Aiming to get your self-confidence and a renewed sense of empowerment is important. And we found that the camaraderie of sailing a boat with people with similar experiences creates the environment where people can share their hopes and their fears, and they just talk amongst themselves and learn from each other, which is really exciting. If you're interested, definitely look at our website, and if you look at the challenges we've got coming up, in New Zealand we have the racing boat, which is Lion or Steinhager 2, which it is a tough challenge, and if you we have flotillas like the ones that they do in the Northern Hemisphere and in Croatia and Turkey. It's flotillas of like 3 to 10 boats, and on each boat they're smaller boats, and there's 6 to 8 people that you sail together, and you just go around the islands of like Greece or Turkey, and they're a little bit more comfortable. Your bed's decent to sleep in compared to the racing boats. But what we've got adventurous challenges this year, we have quite a few coming up where we're sailing
in Mexico, Sardinia, Scotland, UK and Ireland, Norway or the Netherlands. And we also got the Arctic Circle and Norway again, and we've got Lion. So the cost of events is difficult to ever give a price. We ask to say this pay for their participation in these challenges, and the cost is unique to each individual event. But it's always available on the application form. And if you have any concerns about costs, you can always talk to us, and we can see if we can help direct you to places, like UNESD or Mastery Mountains that might be able to help you train for road trip. But yeah, we may be able to help you with something there. So it would be, I think Kevin said everything. So it would be lovely if you decided you wanted to have a look at joining us in New Zealand on a challenge. And my information was just put up, so you can just give us a call, make contact. Thank you.
Ingrid, would you mind saying a couple of words about application process, how to apply?
If you go on to you can either email me directly and ask me if we've got anything, and I can send you a link. I do send an information sheet out with the link on it, but if you go to our website and have a look at the different challenges, the Adventurous Challenge or the Epic Challenge, and you'll go in there and you will see which one you're interested in. And if you click on there, it takes you straight to the application form. So just fill it in and it will come through to the appropriate.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Can I just make an observation about the cost? And I appreciate people operating on different budgets, but I've always thought that for a week on a large boat out in the Gulf, the cost has been pretty reasonable in my discussions with people who have been on the Mediterranean cruises. The cost has been pretty reasonable there, and the Oceans of Hope organisation in the UK has got good contacts into the charter business and tends to operate in shoulder season, so it gets the better rates, off-season rates in that part of the world. Yeah.
So they cover your food, and they cover in New Zealand they cover your week sailing, and they cover food. And when you go abroad, you have to take into that you pay for the challenge. But when you're in a flotilla, you will find you have to actually pay for the food separately. So you always have to remember when you get there, you're going to have that added cost.
Thank you so much, Kevin and Ingrid. Sounds fabulous. Oceans of Hope Challenge. There are a couple of questions come through. My colleague Martina Torres will just read those out.
Kevin, there's one question for you about the crew. How many people did you sail with? How big was the crew?
So the boat that we went out on this time was 24 people with MS, and there was 5 professional crew, and 3 of those were experienced sailor type people, and the other 2 were people who worked around boats, that sort of thing, but more there to help out with the food, the cooking, and those sorts of things, and with the sails. It depends on the capabilities of the crew and their willingness to participate as to how much the people with MS actually do. But as I said, one of the people on the last challenge had been in 2 of the legs on the round the world thing. So he was a Sydney Hobart sailor, so he was quite an experienced sailor. And there's always people who were quite capable on board to help with the professional people. Yeah. but the professional people are very good. And you possibly didn't notice in the photos, but there's so many of those photos where the crew people talking with the people with MS, just, and it's great learning experience for them as well as for us. But the interaction between the professional crew and our people was just just amazing, really. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Kevin. Thank you. Nicola, do we have time for more questions or?
I think just that general question that you had, something that perhaps covers all of the challenges might be good.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a question for all the participants. What sort of strategies or mindset shifts helped you to push through difficult times when it was really, really hard and challenging? What sort of things helped you?
I can probably answer some of my ones with my challenges. I suppose it's just I just hate to fail, so I will do anything to, and sometimes that's a detriment as well. But yeah, it's just a pretty stubborn mindset more than anything, to make sure that I finish what I achieve, or achieve what I started. So yeah, I just say stubbornness. Really, it's about it.
For me, because there was such an age range of people too, and not like I was actually the only one with MS, but we shared a lot of our personal journeys. For me, I knew like everybody was struggling at different times, and we all sort of supported each other. And there were times we noticed some people struggling more than others. And it's probably the same with when you're with a group of people with MS, that you're aware of what other people might have going on, and I think you've almost got a sixth sense or whatever. You kind of can understand that, you can tell people, and so I think when you're going through a tough time or whatever, people just pick you up and hold you up and help you and carry something for you, or yeah, it was just the support. It was amazing.
The community was very
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and that mirrors my experience as well. It's just people like me don't find it easy to ask people for help, but you only need, and sometimes the crew people would say, just tell me what you want me to do, just, and that's a big help. And some of the other people in the out with me as well would be very, very helpful as well. And a few people had issues with raising their feet to get over into the climb down into the boat sort of thing. There was always someone around to help out there. There's always people to help you out of the dinghy onto the boat. So people it's just part of the shared experience, I think, in terms of just having supportive people around, but also recognizing that you actually could do with a bit of help here now.
Thank you. Thanks so much. And just one more question, very last one. What sort of advice would you give to someone with MS who is maybe a little bit hesitant about taking on a similar adventure?
I think a lot of people are pretty apprehensive about hopping onto a big boat, particularly if they've not been sailing before. And the boats, well, the Lions and the Steinagers are not Mediterranean charter boats. They don't have there are no showers on board. It's over the side for a morning swim, and a bit of a challenge. But I'd have to say in my 4 journeys out, I've probably only seen one person who wasn't coping particularly well. And I noticed some apprehensive people before the start, and it often came from their comments before the start, so how they felt. But I think by the time they'd finished a week out, they had been supported by other people, and they were probably feeling pretty positive about their own capabilities to do things. And I don't think there's anyone who couldn't do what they wanted to do. Might have been a bit difficult. They might have needed a bit of help. But there is that assistance there.
Can I just say something really quickly on that? I've had people apply and they're like, yep, and then suddenly it's getting closer and closer, and it's like, oh, now I'm starting to get worried. And they, I've had them give me a quick phone call, or they've asked me questions and I've given them a quick call, and we've just had a talk, and that's all it needed. They just needed somebody to have a chat and ground them a little bit more. So I am, for our challenges in the Southern Hemisphere, I am always open for a chat if anybody ever needs it.
And with Outward Bound, like, you don't know anyone that you're going there with. You don't know how many people you're going to meet. You don't know anything, and everyone is in the same boat. So, we all turned up and all had to go, oh, hi, I'm so-and-so, and whatever. And you just click with people. But for me, that helped, because like no one knew anything about. A couple of them had actually done it before. One guy did it 50 years ago. I think he was 70 something. He did it when he was 20 something. So he'd done it once, and there was another guy that had done it 10 years ago, I think. So they had a little bit of an idea that kind of what was ahead, but every experience is different. Like no two are kind of the same. They tailor, the instructors have got some, they can kind of sort out of 40 something activities what they decide to do. So it's not all preset and pre-organized. So it's all, that's why, and sometimes it's weather based, depends what the weather's. So everyone is in the same boat, and so I was a little apprehensive too, but then I kind of went, well, everyone's going to feel the same as me, so I'm just going to go there and do it, give it my best.
So staying open, staying flexible, and relying on your community. Mm-hmm.
And being organized to make sure you haven't got like worries about home. That was a big thing for me. I knew I couldn't go if I was going to be worried about what was going on at home. I gave people, my family, emergency number if they needed to contact me through Outward Bound or whatever. Like, just being prepared, and give yourself some time to prepare yourself for it too. For Outward Bound, you do need to have some level of fitness. But then I met a girl on the plane on the way back who did a 21-day one, 3 nights solo in the bush, and had to run a marathon, which I think she walked, but she did no exercise to prepare herself, and she still did it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess it's what you want to achieve.
Thank you, Debbie.
Yeah, I think with mastering mountains, it's usually it's your own challenge. So, but you can adapt it. So if things aren't going the way you want to, you've got the flexibility to adapt it. So, for instance, my journey's been quite I've had to adapt it quite a bit, and Nick and the crew that you've got to talk to are very flexible about helping you. So it's not a set course. So that's the great thing about it. It's quite flexible. So if you have found out you're bitten off more than you can chew, you can adjust it, which is really cool.
Thank you.
Thanks, Martina, and thank you everybody so very much. It's been a fabulous session tonight. So I'm sure there'll be a lot of learning taken away, and people can follow up with Mastering Mountains, Oceans of Hope, and also Outward Bound directly. Alternatively, you can get in touch with us or your local society, who will be able to point you in the right direction. So thank you all so very much. We've gone a bit over time tonight, but it was a really fabulous discussion. So thank you for contributing and sharing, and we hope to see you all again soon.
Thank you, Nicola.
Ko Mārie.